Okay, now I would like to give my take on randomness or chance and what caused the initial randomness or chance. Because whichever way you look at the universe, whether you say that it was created ordered or it was created random, or order originates from randomness, or sorry, complexity originates from randomness, you still have the question of what caused the randomness in the first place. Yeah, if science has taught us anything, if you refer to the double slit or diffraction experiment, it shows you that things are everywhere at the same time until someone looks. As in, things do not become complex until there's a viewer. Of course, this is a mild assumption or assertion. Yeah, it's not a strong assertion where you can go out on a limb with it, because when you look at the double slit, there's still a structure. The pattern is still a structure. Yeah, so at some level there's complexity, but you can also look at it in a different context and say that it's random. So if every particle's existence is based on probabilities, there's a probability of the atom being here, there's a probability of the proton being here, there's a probability of an electron being here. Everything is probabilities, so everything happens by chance, if you like. But then what caused that? If that turns out to be the primary reason for existence, yeah, what caused randomness? I'm not going to use any mathematics because I'll need to go into entropy, but entropy is a subject I touched on academically, but I never really went in depth with it. I wasn't, my studies were not orientated around entropy and stochastic analysis. But from randomness comes complexity. So we are the ones who emerged the concept of randomness, and we are the ones who emerged the concept of complexity. Yeah, but we know, yeah, that to a certain degree complexity can't form, or particles cannot fix their position unless they're being viewed. Yeah, so for a structure to form, particles will have to fix their positions in order to form the structures, but they can't do that unless they're being viewed, which suggests that there's an ultimate viewer who's looking into the universe, and the act of looking into the universe is the same as the act of looking at the double slits to see what's happening. So as it looks into the universe, it fixes the positions of particles and structures form, or complexity forms. So whenever complexity forms, these are the times when the Almighty is looking into the universe. So otherwise things would be everywhere at the same time, yeah, and structures wouldn't form. But until an ultimate viewer views it, yeah, if we accept that these structures that we're seeing in space and all around us formed before our consciousness came, yeah, then somebody would have had to fix their positions for them to interact with each other to form. Yeah, so maybe Einstein did say God does not play dice with the universe. But maybe he did. That's what quantum physics suggests. Maybe he did. Yeah, maybe he made the Big Bang so that randomness can take place. Then he chose to look, yeah, so that structures can start to form and complexity can start. Yeah, that's also valid, that whichever way you look at it, whether you say it's deterministic or random, yeah, if it's random, it needs an ultimate viewer. So in fact, quantum physics, if you go that way, you're gonna need an ultimate viewer. You're gonna need the Almighty to explain, yeah, how complexity can form from randomness when existence is probabilistic before it's viewed. There's got to be a viewer. Now, if you're going the deterministic route, yeah, then even in deterministic science or physics, you still have the concept of error and randomness. And randomness is brought by error, and I've covered error in so many different ways. I'll need to look back at my videos to see where I stand on it, but it's not fresh in my mind at the moment. But I've covered error. Yeah, error is something that seems to be fundamental, yeah, to reality. Speaking as a deterministic based physicist, and error can't be eliminated. Error is like energy. It just moves from one place to another or one form to another. You can't really eliminate error. You have to observe it. But something else, if something is failing and you stop it from failing, whatever you use to stop it from failing will fail at some point. So error can't be eliminated, and error is what causes predictions or equations not to be 100%. So there can never be an equation, there can never be something that happens that works 100% of the time because of error. Error is what brings randomness. When it's gonna fail, that's a random process. When things fail, yeah, you cannot say to the exact microsecond when something will fail. It will always be a random process. So even when you go the deterministic route, because error exists, you have to say that in terms of failure of things, in terms of why your equations don't work, that's a random process. So what caused the initial randomness, the initial chance in the universe? Why does chance happen? Why does randomness happen? Yeah, and I won't attempt to answer questions where I'll have to be the Almighty to be able to understand that. So you can't ask me, why did God create the universe this way? If I knew that, I'll be God. Yeah. All you know is that the universe is that way. Yeah. Then you ask yourself, if you ask yourself what caused it to be that way, you say the Almighty, and you leave it at that. And then why did it cause it to be that way? You ask the Almighty. If you ask me to explain to you something, yeah, that if you ask me to explain what God did, yeah, that's like me asking, I don't know, asking someone who took a penalty shot, why did you hit it that way? How am I supposed to know? Go and ask the person that did it. Yeah. You say, why didn't you shoot that way instead of that way? I don't know. Go and ask the guy that did it. Why did you create randomness? Why did the Almighty create randomness? I don't know. Go and ask him. Who created the Almighty? I don't know. Go and ask him. Yeah, it's simple. Yeah, but you only deal with what you know. All you know is that the man took the penalty goal, went above the sticks, and went that way. That's all you know. Yeah, that's all you can describe. You say, look, this is what happened. Yeah. Why did that ball get into the net? Because somebody hit it that way into the net. Why did he hit it that way? Go and ask him. Yeah. So why does the universe behave this way? Because the Almighty made it. Why did he make it that way? Go and ask him. Yeah. So so randomness leads to complexity, and the only way that can happen is if particles are being observed. Yeah. You could have an argument and say that it's us who's observing it. So when we look up to the heavens, they form, and if we don't look at the heavens, they're not there. You could argue that, but there's always someone who's looking at there's always someone who's aware of it. And my take on that is quite simple. It's like basically our ancestors, yeah, say Adam, if you're dealing with scripture, had to see the world a certain way for him to be in it. Yeah, he had to see the sun there. Yeah, and then we've now been genetically programmed to know that the sun's there. He had to experience gravity, we're genetically being programmed to experience gravity. He had to see the earth. He has to see everything the way it is. yeah, for his existence to make sense to him. Yeah. When you start asking yourself questions, what is time? Yeah, then you start running out of time. People used to live forever before they used to uh, concern themselves with the question of time. Yeah. So once you collapse an idea into your consciousness, you destroy parts, you destroy the other probabilities of its nature. Yeah. So whatever we understand, we limit just by understanding it. So somebody would have had to limit the universe into existence, yeah, for us to live in it. Yeah. So our consciousness is consciousness. Yeah. The tree of consciousness is the Almighty, and we're just little branches of it. So we're like an extension of the Almighty. Our consciousness works the same way, to an extent, not fully, to an extent, as the Almighty's consciousness works. But the Almighty is a global consciousness that which is the universe, because somebody has to fix the momentum or position of those particles for complexity to take place. Yeah, and the only way that can happen is if consciousness is involved. So consciousness is a fundamental energy, a special energy in nature that we haven't deduced, whose nature we haven't deduced. Yeah. But where I look to find consciousness is when they start talking about dark matter and dark energy. When they talk about things that they can never see or prove, yeah, that sounds like consciousness. So whenever they do that, I try to add in consciousness as an agent to see if that will make sense. Yeah, because there's got to be something that gives structure to a probabilistic state, and that's consciousness. If there's structure, yeah, if there was structure before human beings formed, there was consciousness before human beings. If there was structure before life formed, there was consciousness before life formed. And that's it.